There's a gravel road in Holmes County, Ohio, that I've driven down more times than I can count. Past the white fences, past the draft horses standing still in the morning fog, past the clotheslines heavy with work shirts and aprons. The first time I drove it, a friend had told me about a family out there, a man named Daniel and his wife Ruth, feeding 10 people almost entirely from their land. No grocery runs except for flour and salt. And their kitchen garden, I was told, was nothing special to look at. I pulled up expecting to be impressed by the size of it. I wasn't. Maybe 50 by 70 feet. A patch of ground. But what stopped me wasn't the size. It was what wasn't growing in it. No bell peppers. No zucchini taking over half the space. No rows of snap beans going leggy in the August heat. I said, "Daniel, where's everything else?" He looked at me with the patience of a man who'd answered that question before. He said, "Everything else is in the cellar." That one sentence rearranged something in my head that's never gone back to the way it was. Today I'm walking you through 5 vegetables the Amish have stopped growing. Not because they can't, but because they've done the math most of us never bother doing. The math of space, labor, storage, and whether something actually keeps your family fed when February rolls around and the ground is frozen solid. Number 1, bell peppers. Bell peppers are beautiful in a seed catalog, but they're long season, heat hungry, and fussy. In most of zones 4 through 6, you're starting seeds 10 to 12 weeks indoors, nursing transplants under lights, then hoping your summer gets hot enough. A good plant gives you 6 to 10 fruits. A struggling one gives you 2. And then what? You can eat them fresh. You can freeze them. They go mushy. You can pickle them, but pickled pepper is a condiment, not a meal. Ruth told me something I've been thinking about ever since. She said, "A pepper gives you flavor. An onion gives you winter. The Amish grow storage onions instead. One 20-foot row gives you 40 to 60 pounds of onions that sit on a shelf. No refrigeration, no canning, no processing, from September through April. 7 months of food from one row." Number 2, fresh snap beans. Now wait, the Amish absolutely grow beans. Walk into any Amish cellar and you'll see quart jars of canned green beans stacked to the ceiling. What they don't grow are the fancy, fresh-eating varieties. The French fillets, the purple snap beans selected purely for tenderness at the fresh stage. These are plants optimized for a window of maybe 3 days before the pods toughen and you've missed it. What Daniel's family grows instead is dry beans. Jacob's cattle, soldier beans, Hutterite soup beans his grandfather brought from Indiana. Dry beans store at room temperature for years, not months, years. A Cornell study found dry beans return over 1,400 calories per 10 square feet. Fresh snap beans from the same space? About 200. Daniel said it plainly. Fresh beans feed us in July. Dry beans feed us in January. We need January more. Number 3, spinach. This one is subtle. The Amish do grow spinach, a short row in April, another in September. Small plantings, fresh eating for a few weeks. What they refuse is dedicating real garden space to it as a main crop. I had 3 long rows of spinach for years. And here's what those rows gave me. 6 weeks of spinach in spring before it bolted, 6 weeks in fall before frost, and absolutely nothing by December. Spinach is 91% water. It wilts within hours. You cannot store it meaningfully. What Ruth grows in that space is kale. A lacy native variety she's been selecting seed from for 15 years. Kale stands in the garden through frost after frost, getting sweeter each time the temperature drops. It can be harvested fresh into December in zones 5 through 7. It freezes well, unlike spinach. It keeps feeding her family in November when the spinach is a memory. Number 4, slicing cucumbers. The Amish pickle cucumbers. Enormously. What they don't grow is the big, fresh, slicing varieties most backyard gardeners plant 6 of every year. Here's the math. A slicing cucumber plant gives you about 10 pounds of cucumbers in a 2-week window before they yellow on the vine. You can't can them as slicers. They go soft. You can't freeze them at all. Cucumbers are 96% water. The caloric return per square foot is among the lowest of anything you can grow. What that trellis space gives them instead is pole beans for drying or butternut squash trained up a fence, dense, storable food instead of water with a skin on it. Ruth said it simply. We don't grow things that can't wait for us. That line has followed me around for 2 years. Number 5, zucchini. I know, this is the controversial one. Zucchini is the symbol of backyard abundance. Everybody grows it. It's easy. It produces relentlessly. That's exactly the problem. It produces relentlessly for about 6 weeks, and then you're drowning in zucchini you can't give away, and the plants are taking up 9 to 12 square feet each. It's a summer eating crop and nothing else. What Daniel's family grows in that space is Hubbard squash. The big, warty blue-gray ones. A single Hubbard can weigh 15 to 20 pounds. The flesh is dense and sweet, perfect for pies, soups, roasting. And a Hubbard squash picked in September sits on a shelf at room temperature and is still perfectly good in March. 6 months of storage. No refrigeración. No canning. Nothing. The same space that gives you 6 weeks of more zucchini than you can eat, followed by nothing, gives you 40 pounds of food that carries your family through the dead of winter. Daniel said, zucchini is a generous plant, but generosity in July doesn't help you in December. Before I go, here's a bonus tip from Daniel's mother, Miriam, a woman in her late 70s who has been storing dry beans since before most of us were born. No milarbaks, no oxygen absorbis, no vacuum sile. She fully dries her beans on the vine until the pods rattle, shells them, then spreads them on a sheet in a warm dry room for 1 more week. That extra week drops the moisture below the threshold where mold and weevil eggs can survive. Then she fills plain mason jars, drops 1 bay leaf in each jar. Bay leaves naturally repel weevils, puts the lid on, and stores them in a dark interior closet. Not the basement, she says, too damp. That's it. She says she's never had a jar go bad. Those beans will still be good in 3 years. The Amish don't have a secret seed or a magic soil amendment. What they have is a question they ask about every single plant before it goes in the ground. Will this feed us in February? If the answer is no, it better at least be something that stores, something that preserves, something that earns its square footage by the standard of the winter table, not the July table. Drop a comment below and tell me what zone you're in and which of these 5 surprised you most. And subscribe if you want more of these. I've got a lot more coming. Thanks for being here.